Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday morning. Thank you for joining me. We still have Fed speakers on the horizon today. We had some earnings come out yesterday that I'm going to talk about. But one thing that I'm most proud of that I'm going to share right now, because it says under testimonials, I've been following Matt for a little while. Love his inside stock picks, fell out of trading due to financial reasons. Happens to us all, right? We blow up accounts. But I saw him post on Webull chat that led me to our Discord. I still follow his post daily here. Sign up for Twitter, sign up for membership, fixed a few mistakes. Pretty impressive gains. Once I signed up, I sat in the training session with Romeo. Again, Romeo goes on. He did a homework club last night. I think there was one person that was joining him live, and then we put on the replay. So that one person had a one-on-one lesson. Understanding the market, it helped me understand different lines of support and resistance. So when I talk about support and resistance and knowing the market will turn around, he's saying it wasn't obvious. All in all, he's happy he joined the group, everything quickly. He blew up his account previously, minus 80%. He appreciates the knowledge and support and hopes he gets a grasp on things. Well, since he joined, let's see, he had maybe $900 in his trading account. He's up 80%, up $723 in the past week. Shoot, that is a huge difference and a life-changing number. Understand, you're up 80% of the week. All of a sudden, you have that light bulb moment. You're like, shit, I understand how to trade better. That's why we do what we do. That's why Romeo goes on live to help you guys with his orbs and his candlesticks. That's why I speak about certain stocks and ranges of support and resistance pre-market. So let's talk about what's going on pre-market this morning, okay? We've got Silvergate Corporation. Hindenburg came out with a short report maybe 2 weeks ago. It kind of bounced up from there. It's SI. However, they just came out and they're delaying their earnings report, saying they're not sure if they're financially stable enough to move forward. Well, shoot, the company's off 40%, now 47% pre-market from 13.50. Remember, this is a $21 stock. When the short report came out, we saw it go down to 17. I said the worst wasn't over. This morning, it's trading at 7. So from 17, if you join me that morning, and I mentioned the Hindenburg report, and I mentioned other short reports, and I mentioned this company will likely struggle in the future. Again, it doesn't play out where it's day after day. It just drops, 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 drops. It seems to find its stable platform, and then the company actually comes out and they say they don't know if they're viable. Well, shit, that would take 47% off any company. Next, Tesla had their innovative day yesterday. A lot of hype going into that. Obviously, underperforming. Elon came out with his three-prong attack, but he would have needed to fly yesterday for Tesla to shoot up. It's down 7.86% pre-market. It's probably at the 188. No, it's actually under 188. I mentioned 188 because 188 had been key support for Tesla. It's currently sitting at 186.70. So here's the thing. We'll go give you your Tesla scenario. Tesla scenarios, market opens, they continue to buy up the dip on Tesla and kind of ignoring what happened on their special day yesterday. And Tesla shows support at the 188 level. Again, we're trading at 186.88 pre-market. So it shows support at 188. And we see a bounce back, I don't know, 192, 194. It's still a terrible day. It's still down 5%, but it's not down 8%. So you have to figure out how to make yourself money. If you're not involved with Tesla, you come up with an idea on how to play Tesla because it will be volatile today. Next, we had Salesforce.com, which is CRM, come out with earnings. They beat on both sides. They're up 15% pre-market, up to $193. Important. Why? Because there are so many activists that have stakes in Salesforce.com. So those activists are going to be holding or buying more. You have Elliott, you have Sequoia, you have like level 3 partners. There are so many different companies that take a minority share, and they do it to change the company's vision going forward, to get seats on the board, things of that nature. Snowflake, similar to CRM, a ton of institutional investors. Unfortunately, they underperformed, and they're off 9% this morning. So I'm just looking at the 3-month chart, and it's technically possible that Snowflake go all the way back to like $132 before it finds support, maybe 131. With that said, Snowflake's trading at 140 pre-market. So if I was going to take a bearish position, I wanted to ride Snowflake down more. What is that similar to? Well, that's similar to 2 stocks that I mentioned last week that people said, okay, well, they're done or they're coming back. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, Lucid and Carvana. Again, Lucid and Carvana came out with terrible, terrible, terrible earnings. I posted some stuff on Lucid. Of course, there's so many Lucid fans that are like, we're just going to buy the dip. You're an idiot. Who cares? But no, Lucid lost another 5.59% yesterday, is down 3% pre-market. Carvana lost 5.4% yesterday and is down 5% pre-market. Oh, next stock or ETF, Boyle, natural gas ETF. I mentioned I got out yesterday. It's still a little higher than where I got it. It said $7.01. But if you look at Boyle, and I'll bring it up, okay, you look at the 1 month chart. What do you see? You see inflow 6 days in a row. So when I tell you natural gas bottomed, and I mentioned it 4 days ago, and excuse me, Boyle was $4.84, and the fact that it's over $7 this morning. Options I played 3 times. I made 100%, 80%, and 120% on Boyle. So I mean, that's something I'm going to look at on dips on Boyle. I'm not saying it's going to happen today, but on dips on Boyle, it goes back down to the 625 level, 630 level. I can get back in and ride it up to $7 again. The thing with Boyle is between the bid and the ask, you're usually paying a $10 difference, sometimes a $5 difference. So it's not one of those dollar differences where you're going to bid on the SPY, $300 and it's 301, 302. You bid on Boyle, it's $80. It's got to be 85, 90. It goes in increments of $5. So yeah, please hit that like button from the start. I appreciate that. Please join me tomorrow. I've got a lot more to share today. And what are my thoughts on SI? My thoughts on SI are, shit, it could go down to 0. However, with it being at $7 from $21, it's not something that I want to take a risky position in, because I have to understand where I think the stock is going, and I have some backup to prove why it's going there and how soon it'll take. And I just don't know that because I don't follow that stock. I only mentioned the short report some time ago. We could bring up Marathon Digital Holdings, which is Mara. Again, the other day they were supposed to come out with an earnings report, and the SEC said you can't come your earnings report because your revenues are off and your expenses are off, and they've been off for a few quarters. So they delayed their earnings report. The stock was at $7.60 at the time that happened, at the time that we mentioned that on Discord. Where's the stock now? $6.51. That's where it closed. It's at 640 or 632 pre-market, off another 3%. So you're talking about from 760 down to 630. That's $1.30. You're talking about a 20% decline because they said that they're not going to have earnings on time. So you have to listen and pay attention to these things as well. Yeah, this is a meme stock as well. I'm going to talk about the SPY ranges. I see the question there. Genius Group, again, when Genius was like $5, $6, $7, I said too expensive. And Genius Group right now is what? I don't even follow it. I was going to say $3. That would have been my guess. It's at $2.45. So on the way up to $7, I told everybody this is BS. I mean, the stock was like $1.40. So those that were in $1.40, if you're still riding it, man, I would secure profit. I mean, I would have secured profit on any spike. It's always good when you're growing any type of account to secure profit, to be safe, to take the profit, put it on the side, look for your next trade. Or remember, you're looking for A-plus entries. SPY ranges. I'm going to talk about SPY ranges today, but I'm giving you an overall gist of the SPY right now. I think we might hit 392 on the downside. I don't really see it hitting 391 and change. And from 392 all the way up to 396, I think we're going to trade a very, very narrow range today. But we'll get to that in a second. Let me just see if I have any other stocks. I mentioned Apple. Where's Apple at? Okay, Apple. 145.31 it closed at yesterday. It was as low as 145. I mentioned Apple had major support at 145. The fact that it's broken through major support this morning and it's at 143.76. Yeah, Apple can drop lower. It can drop to 139. So if Apple drops to 139, you're talking about $4 extra, an extra 3%. So it could be an ugly day. I got involved. I bought 3 Meta call contracts yesterday before the market closed. What happened right after the market closed? They came out with an S8, I think, basically offering, making an offering coming to fruition. I don't know what the offering amount is. I didn't look at it yet, but just my luck. I mean, I've been calling the SPY, the SPX, everything off the chart. I finally enter into a trade looking for an overnight, little flip action, and they come out and they say they're going to do an offering. So my goal today is to get out with the least amount of loss as possible on that one. Yeah, we can talk about the SPY. So let me just bring up my SPY ranges. Again, I do my homework every night, meaning I go home, or I am home. I draw out the SPY. I draw out the SPY for the last 4 or 5 days, meaning the high and the low for, let's say, Friday, the high and the low for Monday, the high and the low for Tuesday. I draw a line through the median so I can see the curvature and decide or predictability of where the market's going. Then I say to myself, okay, it had a range of 4.5 points on Friday, 6.2 points on Monday, and I figure out what the range is for the SPY. So I know when it's going up or we're having that continuous choppy day, where the high side could be. And then I use the dark pool levels of when they were buying and selling SPY off market so nobody knows about it to tell me when we could possibly see rejection or support. So let's do that right now. Let's go into the SPY. Let me just change this. Again, I'm on the public platform right now for the SPY. So let's go to public trading. What would I do? Anybody can do this because it is public. So you type in DP levels and SPY, and hopefully that comes up, and we'll make it nice and big for everybody to see. And there it is. Okay, so let's look at it. Whoops, where do we go? Okay, SPY levels. Okay, so what do we see? 406.20. That's where I could see us rejecting if we ever have a bullish day. Again, if today happened to flip and they were buying the dip. It's 406, but we're far from there. So I'm going down ghost zone, ghost zone. We know the 399 level because we rejected 3 times on Tuesday, once on Monday, 399. So we know that we're going lower. Again, the highs on the days have been dropping and the lows in the days have been going lower, both bearish sentiment. So you're going to see the largest dark pool level right here, just under $25 billion at 396.89. I like to call that 396.50. In this case, I round down because yesterday we saw rejection right at the 396.50 level, and we saw it 2 or 3 times, and it acted, even though the market looked strong at some points yesterday that it was going to break through, it kindly rejected it each and every time. You go down to the next level down, 394.57. This used to be 4 billion. Now it's close to 7.5 billion. So that's telling me this sizing has increased. Sizing increased. Okay, you're either finding more resistance or more support. So that's what I'm looking at. As we're sitting pre-market, and we closed yesterday 397.74, so we closed a little above that level. We're opening definitely below that level. We're at 392.44. Understand, the next level down from 394, which you're not seeing, is about 392. Let me actually find the exact number because I did my homework again. 391.96 is the next level of support. There's a support line at 393.32. So let me just see again where the SPY is right now, 392.48. So we're in between the next 2 support levels. So let me give you the bull case scenario. The bull case scenario, and I'll give you the bear case scenario too, but the bullish case scenario is we drop a little more on market open. We find support right under 392. Again, we're sitting at where are we sitting now? 392.49. So we drop down to 391.86. Okay, we drop another 50 cents lower on the SPY. We find support at that level. We find support at that level, and we bounce up to the next level. The next level being higher, where you find a nice dark pool level, is 394 and change. So if I'm planning to get out of some positions because I think we're going to be bearish today, and let me just pull up the let's look at a 4-hour chart. Let's see where we're here. So 4-hour chart, we saw some heavy volume here. We're outflow, 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 1 inflow day, then 3 more out of 4 outflow days. So again, bearish sentiment on the market. If I want to look at the last times we've seen outflow days like this to see if we had any bounce, we had a huge outflow day back here in November. We saw a tiny bounce on not that great volume the next time, but the last time we saw multiple days, outflow, outflow, outflow. Again, we went down from a 399 level all the way to a 388. So you're talking about a 10 or 11 point move to the downside. So if I come up and I say history tends to repeat itself, what are we likely to see? Well, let's remember on the high side, we were about 402 and change, 402.24. If I take 11 points from 402.24 and I say, okay, that was the intense selling the last 2 times that I've seen that, I'm going back a few months, I can say something like, we can technically see support right at the 391 level. I look at where we can find support on the second support line, and I say 391.61. So specifically, I'm looking at 391.61 today, plus or minus 20 cents to show support on the market. So again, bullish day, market drop to where we see support, and then we go back up, and I say we go back up maybe 3 or 4 points from that level. So again, 391.60 on the bottom, 395.60 on the top. If you look at where we closed yesterday at 394.74, yes, at some point during the day, I do think the market possibly will turn green. That's your bull case scenario. Your bear case scenario is, shit, we just fade, and every time the market spikes, they re-enter puts. Now remember, I've been a bear now for what, 2 months straight, I guess. Even though the market was pushing higher, I was still bearish sentiment. I said the US dollar is going up. US dollar looks like it's going to 105 this morning. If you haven't taken a look at it, it was 104.24 yesterday. So let's get to some questions now, and let's see what we got going on. Okay. Yeah, somebody mentioned Reddit to me yesterday. Are puts a safe play? So you're talking about a stock that spiked 200% yesterday, and you're asking me if puts are a safe play. I don't know why the stock spiked. I don't follow Reddit. I saw that it spiked a nice percentage the day before yesterday, and someone asked me, and I said, listen, it seems kind of risky. Yeah, it could get pushed. I'm assuming it's a short squeeze or some type of squeeze of some sort. And generally, those squeezes do come back down. They generally do not hold their position where they are. But again, I don't follow Reddit, so I'm going to tell you, you want to look at volume. You want to track the volume. You want to track the dark pool levels and see when the insiders, when the institutions, when big money is selling, but not selling on the public market. They're selling in the public market. You can see what they're doing. They like to do it in the dark pool. So again, I would look at the dark pool levels for Reddit. That's what I would do. Let's see. What do we got? David, Tesla and Square. Again, I mentioned Square the other day. It looked like it had the possibility to bounce. But again, if the whole market is going to be bearish and interest rates, the 2-year, the 10-year, the US dollar are all going up, it's going to put downward pressure on the market, which makes it hard to be bullish anything. So again, for you to be bullish, if I'm bullish, it's going to be a scalp play. The fact that I'm bullish on any 1 or 2 stocks, I'm looking for the bottom of the SPY, and I'm needing to see that the SPY will bounce at 1%. Then if I find a stock that has inflow or demand, I'll mention one. DraftKings. The next day that DraftKings has inflow or demand, and let me just go to it so I can give you an accurate reading here. And it's going to be off this morning. It's probably off 2% pre-market. Yeah, it's off 1.97% in pre-market. But again, DraftKings volume, very low. I hate the stock. It spiked off earnings. But when we see it bottom, there's no doubt that it's going to go above $20 probably in the next week again. Even with a bad market, and you're talking about $1.50, you're talking about a 9% move higher. So yeah, when DraftKings is done throwing up on itself, whether it loses 2% today or stays flat today or whatever happens today, I believe DraftKings will be at $21 in the next 1, 2, 3 weeks. So I'll just let it play out. I have no eager or FOMO to get involved with DraftKings. I'm not going to buy it if it keeps dropping. But when I see some stability in DraftKings, when I see some inflow, that will be a stock that I'm getting into. Dark pool levels. Yeah, I mean, Growdy, what you're going to have to do is you probably have to sign up on our Discord. And what can you do? You can go to the public section, and I'll show you what I'm doing right here. Get rid of this, and you'll type in your own search. You'll do TR and DP levels, and you can see all of the instructions or directions, and we can look at Tesla. I thought Tesla had a large level. You can't see it right here, or maybe it moved higher over the past week. But it used to have a large level right here at around 189, 188, which is why I thought we'd see support. I'm not seeing that large level anymore. Instead, I'm seeing huge zone right here at 200. Well, 200 was probably a selling zone. So this probably becomes rejection right here. We go under it and see 12.5. That's still pretty large supply right here. So it can tell me, even if Tesla pops up again today, that it might likely reject right at 196.84. The next level under it, 193.64. So if I had to give you some type of guarantee for me, what I think on Tesla, well, at some point, Tesla's going to pop, and it's probably going to battle this level of 193.64 right there. But again, anybody can do that. Anybody that joins our Discord, even if you don't sign up for the service, you join the public Discord, you could start typing in your own searches. Now, to understand the directions for the searches, yes, that is in the dark pool and algo instruction room, and you need to get there. But if you know how to use it, you're more than welcome to join. Okay, what else do we got? Yes, I saw that Meta call and was like, oh, I'm not sure about that one, although my other calls I don't question. Yeah, unfortunately, I was looking for a quick flip on Meta. I'm going to explain my Meta position real quick. I was thinking that China was going to continue its run overnight. I was thinking our markets might actually gap up to like 396, and I was thinking that I could probably get out at 176 on Meta as we open this morning. I didn't anticipate Tesla tanking the market because that's basically what happened. Imagine if Tesla was up 8% pre-market instead of down 8%. Everything would be flipped. The fact that Tesla disappointed in their, in their special day that they were having, really took a hold of the market. I think here's a link on the side to join our Discord. I've been feeling we're going to hit that 388 area and then rebound. Anybody that joined me last week, I think it was actually Thursday, possibly Friday as well. I gave you my bear case scenario. I said, bear case, the market continues to sell off. Interest rates continue to go up. Here's the interesting thing about interest rates. The Fed swaps rate came out, and now they're anticipating instead of 25 basis point increase for March, which is the next time the Fed's going to meet and release information. Now they're talking about there's a 30% chance that we raise 50 basis points in March. Again, 50 basis points being the next meeting. Everybody was anticipating 25 points and doing it 2 or 3 more times. FDA approval on a drug. Yeah, I mean, I never believe that. Just so everybody's clear, when you hear about stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 of testing for the FDA, stage 1 is you validate your test, meaning you select or submit the correct paperwork. Step 2 is that you actually administer the drug and nobody dies or has a significant failure, heart failure, lung failure, this failure, that failure. Understand, those are the first 2 steps. So assuming you submit the paperwork and you have the right people working for you, that's step 1. Step 2 is, hey, we gave it to a smaller group. Nobody had any fatal results. Well, then you pass step 2. To me, that's a little crazy because step 4 is approval. So going from, hey, we didn't kill anybody to step 4 approval, again, I'm not that big on biotechs. Can I talk through the ranges of OKTA? Yeah, I mean, let's look it up. Let's bring up Discord again. I mean, this is what I do when I look at different ranges. So I'll look at let's see, DP levels, OKTA. I didn't capitalize that. Will it matter? No, I guess it doesn't. Okay, so let's bring it up. Let's see where the stock is right now, because again, that's not a stock that I follow. OTKA. I definitely typed that in wrong. OKTA, yes, OKTA. Okay, equity. Nice outflow past 3 days. It did go up yesterday off some large volume, $11 billion market cap. It spiked what? Yesterday or 2 days ago, yesterday and the afternoon. Again, I don't know the company, so I don't know why it spiked yesterday, but they were selling off into the spike. And again, if there's downward pressure on the market, but let's look at the dark pool levels, okay? Because we're sitting at $81 pre-market and it closed at $71. Okay, so it closed at 71. It's opening at 81. They could easily fade it. I don't know the news that pushed it higher. Again, you have to know the news on what you're supporting. So when I look at the dark pool levels and we're sitting at 81, I don't see a dark pool level here, but I look and it goes about 80 cents, 80 cents, 80 cents, 70 cents, 80 cents. So again, I'm assuming there's a dark pool level right here at 79.70, probably at $80.60. But I don't know the sizing of the dark pool level. So I couldn't tell you where it's going to have support. Again, close at 71. Well, there was a huge dark pool level at 72.02. So let's say that's support. Then if the company was to fade, I could see it going all the way down to 75. So again, it's at 81 pre-market. If it was going to give back a little of that after hours movement, up 13%, it could definitely draw back to the 75 level. Again, I don't know why it moved. It's not one of the ones that I follow. So that's the best I can say right there. Apple puts, what am I thinking about Apple puts? All right, so again, Apple support has always been at 151. Lost support. I said the next step down is 145, which we will likely see that. Remember, Apple was 149 last week when I got into my Apple puts. I was looking for Apple to drop to 145. Well, it took an extra week, and that's the problem. And that's why you have to go out an extra week and buy yourself additional time. But again, I thought Apple would see support at 145. It did. It fell a little under that. It's really based on the market. I mean, we're sitting at 143.72 on Apple. It's still what controls the market. It's still mixed. I mean, again, we closed higher off after hours yesterday, but this morning everything spiked downward, so everything's opening down. So the question is, what do we think? Do we think the institutions continue to buy the dip? So we'll go back to the SPY, and I'll give you my bull case scenario. Bull case scenario is institutions buy the dip. We see support at 391.66 on the SPY. We're going to trade a 4.5-point range. So if 391.66 is the low side, we're going to go up all the way to 396 before we reject. So I'm looking for a 392 or slightly thereunder, 396 on the high side. So again, if I'm holding calls and I say we could possibly ride up to 396, I'm going to hold on to those calls. If I'm thinking puts and we see a quick reversal and we see rejection at one of the dark pool levels, 394. Let's say we see rejection at 394.21, 394.12, something like that, and I pay specific attention. If I'm in calls and I see the SPY rejecting 394 because we bounce back up there after market open, and I say we're still rejecting, then I'm going to get out of my calls and I might get involved with puts. And again, if I'm getting involved with puts, I want to find companies that have been continuously sold off. I mentioned Lucid. I mentioned Carvana. That's not what I'm thinking. They lost 5%, 5%, 3%, 3%. It's already down 8%. I'm looking for a company that has support that could easily flip on a dime and turn around. Let's see what else we got. Here we go. Where are we? Here we go. Hey, good morning. I want to give you praise where it's due. Thanks, Matt. I'm here every morning for the most part because of your knowledge. I've blown up my account numerous times. Yeah, shit, man. Again, we've had Love, who helps, on the platform, on the platform. We've had Romeo. Everybody's blown up their account. Shit, I used to blow up an account like 3 times a year. That was when I was more risky. And when I started this platform, I was more risk averse. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take the risk. Unfortunately, or fortunately, I've learned from there. So now I'm like the advocate of conservative playing, conservative investment. So I'm looking for A-plus entries. So everybody that's saying, hey, what do you think about SI? What do you think about Tesla today? I'm like, shit, I'm going to stay the hell away from it. What am I looking for support? I'm looking for support or rejection. I'm looking for a double bottom or double top. So I know it's rejecting twice or supporting the market twice. If I see support twice, then what am I going to do? I'm going to get involved with calls, even though I'm a bear. If I see it rejecting twice, I'm going to get involved with puts, which makes it easier because I'm a bear. What else do we got here? Hey, left me feeling without desire to play for the past 2 months. Yesterday, I played for the first time. I traded both ways, and you ended up $1,245 off a $2,000 investment. Great, you made 60%. The guy that I showed the original gains, he said he was down 80% on his account, joined our platform, and he made 80% in the last week. That's a great return. I was speaking out Boyle for a week, BOIL. We had a gentleman that came on and said he was down 90% of his position, but he held because I was talking so positively about Boyle and that it's still going to go higher. It's natural gas ETF. It went up to $7 yesterday. Shit, he sold before 7, just like me, but he secured 40% from being down 90%. So NVIDIA bear case scenario. Okay, NVIDIA is interesting because it spiked off earnings. I'm going to give you the bear case scenario. I don't think it's happening, okay? So I'm going to give you the prerequisite. I don't think NVIDIA is dropping off the face of the earth. I actually think we're going to see a buy the dip today, meaning Apple, Google, Amazon. They'll even buy Tesla at some point. They'll buy NVIDIA. NVIDIA, I'm looking to see if $222 holds. If 222 doesn't hold, then yes, I think we could be going down to 214, 212. Right now it's at 224 pre-market. So again, and it's off 1.32%. So if it's off 2.5% today and it holds and stays under that level and closes under that level, then yes, I could be a bear in NVIDIA and I could see it going from 224 all the way to 212. Bull case scenario, they buy the dips on NVIDIA. It holds support right at the 222 level, and we close right where we closed yesterday. So you see it drop to 221 and change. Then it closes at like 225 or something like that. It doesn't break through the support line. If it doesn't break through, then it's going to hold its own. Again, NVIDIA is number 1 in class. AMD is number 2 in class. When you're a big institution, big money, or a big fund, and you have to stay bullish the market, you're buying NVIDIA. You're buying the number 1 and 2 in class. You're buying Amazon, Google, Apple. Yes, they are, the top of the class. Okay. They could even be buying Disney, even though I don't really like Disney yet. See, like Disney at $98, its support line on Disney doesn't happen until $89. So if I was going to be bearish on the market and I was going to say the SPY is going down to 380, the market's going to throw up on itself for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to tell you, Disney's going to go down another 10 points. It's going to give up 1% every day, 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, and keep going down. So that's just my feeling. I gave you my bull case scenario on the SPY is we see 391.66 all the way up to 396 on the high side. Bear case scenario is, okay, 389 is in play. I don't like to say it. 389, the fact that we close on the SPY at 394, it would be about a 5.5 point decline on the SPY, which isn't that significant. 5.5 points would be what? About 1.45%. We've seen days where it's 3%, where it's double that. So yeah, 389 could definitely be in play in a bear case scenario. Markets have been extremely bearish. I'm going to keep my eye. So I'll give you my trackers today. What am I going to do today? So the first tracker I have is the US dollar today. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to look at the US dollar. Let me just find it. And these are important things. So US dollar. Oh, it's over 105. I just mentioned this morning it wasn't over 105. But let's look at the US dollar. Here it is. Just for the last 2 hours, you can see it was spiking. It was under 104.24 when I woke up this morning. Now it's 105. That is a massive move to the upside. That is putting severe downward pressure. So US dollar holds above 105. Yes, bear case scenario on the market. You see the US dollar drop to 104.74 where we were, I don't know, an hour or two ago, then yeah, the markets can rebound and we can see 396. So that's what I'm paying attention to. Number two, Apple. Apple is showing support or resistance. Apple looks like it's going down to 140. Shit, market's going to go down 2-3% today. Apple shows support and heads back to the 145 and kind of stabilizes in the 144 to 145 level. That is bullish for the market. It's telling me that big money wants to buy Apple. So that's what I'm thinking. Also, I'm tracking Tesla because Tesla had major inflow days, major call options, and then outflow for the past 2 days. And everybody, if you look at the top flow, let's just do it one more. Let's look at one more thing on Discord. Just something that I like to look at. It's an easy one you can look at. TR, top flow. Hopefully it comes up. This shows you the top flow for what they were trading yesterday. So let's look at it together. Top flow. SPY calls. BABA calls. Exxon calls. Eli Lilly. Meta calls. Yes, Meta did an offering. Ford calls. Here's Meta again. Outflow. Qs. Google. Tesla. Yes, they knew. Russell. Russell is smaller cap stocks. So they're telling you Qs, Russell, Goldman, Netflix, Chipotle, which is like a Dow stock, Microsoft, J&J, and NVIDIA being best in class. So those telling me extreme bearish sentiment on the market, which is why we don't trade off emotion. What we do is we come up with two game plans. We see, okay, if I'm going to look on SPY support, 391.66. If we break down lower, we're going to see 389. Okay, I know that. That way I see if we break under and I think we're going down, I can get into puts and ride it down 2 points. 2 points is great. I mentioned 2 points the other day. I made 60% in 2 points on the SPY. Okay, bull case scenario. We see that drop to 391.66. We find support there. We go back to 394. Depending on volume, we might actually increase to 396. Again, that's a buy the dip mentality. If you want more updates, please join Discord. I'm not sure if Romeo's live trading today, but he has multiple sections. We have multiple channels, flow and algos, unusual options, golden sweeps. It helps you break down the market. Dark pool levels, bullseye trades. I mean, we're here to make trading more easily for you to obtain and help you be more efficient. That's the best I could say this morning. Please give a thumbs up below if you're watching. Join me tomorrow morning, and I will see everybody later.